Back to my channel. I am Jordan, the Tattooed Stitcher, and this is my channel about cross stitch and quilting and crafty things. It has been a week since my last video. I hope you all have had a great last few days of stitching and family and fun. I have had a good amount of stitching done in the last week, and I'm very excited to show you what I managed to work on. I have a few finishes. Partial FFOs, but I didn't actually bring them up to show. I did include a picture at the beginning of this video. I showed you in my last video my Easter pillows that I'd finished, but I was waiting on some rickrack to completely finish them and display them. The rickrack came and I couldn't stand it any longer. I glued it all on and they're on display in my dining room and I love them so much. So there will be a picture of those. So I will start with some finishes that I have had since we last saw each other. The first finish that I had, oh, hold up, that's ripping. I don't have my fancy board. I really want to have a board. Hang on just one second. I need clips. Okay, I'm going to have a board this time. It just makes it easier for holding things up. Okay, so my first finish is Miss Maggie May. She's an animal cracker from Stacy Nash. I did a color conversion on her to all Belle Soie silks. She turned out really, really cute. See, she stitched on 36 count Little Bunny from X Jude Designs and Belle Soie, like I said. So she's all done and I'm trying to work up the courage to actually finishing her into the pillow. I have the backing fabric picked out. I was contemplating adding a little bow charm here. I could still do that after she was fully finished as well. So that's a possibility, but I just love her. I love the way she turned out. Stitching with the Belle Soie was my first time and I loved it. They are so buttery and smooth to stitch with. I also changed her from a black bunny to a brown bunny. The only Belle Soie I did not use was this color here in her cheeks. It's basically the two lightest pinkish brown colors in her ears and her cheeks. I did not have any Belle Soie that converted over well, and so those are just over dyed color and cottons. But I loved her on this fabric. The model, the chart calls for a darker fabric, but I just like the way that all the colors look on this Little Bunny. Little Bunny is one of my favorite fabrics. It's not quite pink, not quite brown. It's like a bunny's nose. It's just perfect. I love it. And I do plan to stitch the other animal crackers on this fabric. Whether they'll all be on 36 or some on 40, I'm not sure yet. It just depends. Some of the animal crackers are quite a bit bigger. Maggie's one of the smaller ones. Believe it or not. She looks pretty big. But she's done and I love her. Just to work up the courage now to finish her. And then another finish I had this weekend. I stitched this in just an hour, I think. And it was just kind of a random one I picked up. I have this little teeny, let me take this off so it's no glare. This little teeny kit I picked up at Shepherd's Bush. last year. It's called, I think it's just called Friends. That's not too blurry. But it came with this big purple button. And I just thought it would be really cute finished as a little pillow. They have theirs framed obviously in this picture. Finished as a little pillow and put in my spring bowls. So I stitched it up in just a matter of maybe an hour. It's stitched on 36 count. It's what I stitched my Easter pillows on. 36 count Patriots Brew from R&R. And I just did another Belle Soie conversion. I did use, the purple is an overdyed color in cotton. I think it was called Patchwork. But it's just super cute. And that button is so cool. If I was talented, I would try to finish this in maybe like a heart-shaped pillow because I think that would be cute. But alas. And I probably should have waited to put the button on until after it was made into a pillow. I can still take it off. It's not like it's an issue, but I wanted to put the button on and see what it looked like. So taking the button off to finish it is not a big deal. But it's really cute and just a cute, sweet little finish for spring. And then my last finish was a very unexpected finish. I don't know, I've been stitching a lot of samplers the last few weeks, and I was just kind of, I didn't have like a project where there was just easy stitching. I'd finished them all, so I grabbed just a chart that I thought, a whip that I thought was pretty close, and I could possibly finish it, but I wasn't going to push myself, and I actually got it finished. I'm very excited, and that is George Decorates for Martha. I take it out of the paper and there's still a glare. When I picked up this whip, I had about half of the house left. Well, I basically had this whole side still left. All of that. I was finished up until the bird. So I still had quite a bit to go on it. But it's like, the chart seems so small. It's very deceiving. There is a lot of stitching in this chart and a lot of color changes. So let me get it on board. Okay, so here is my finish. I stitched this on 36 count Shrekie's Tan from Needle Bling Designs. And I stitched it with all of the called for except the bright white that you see here. I believe in these two pumpkins, and in the border I changed to Classic Colorworks Toasted Marshmallow. The white in the border was meant to be this, and it wasn't white enough. I wasn't a fan. Oh, and in the flags. And then I also changed the red in the flags to Classic Colorworks Manor Red, and I changed the blue. I changed the blue too, but I can't remember. It's another Classic Colorworks. I just can't remember the blue that I used, what it was called. But I did change those three colors just for those spots. The house, in this light, you can kind of see that there is a difference in the inside window colors, and just like on top of these, it's 8/22 and 6/44, 43. It's one of those, and they look different enough on the skein, but as I was stitching it, I was like, I literally can't tell a difference between these two colors, and it was pretty annoying because I wasn't going to go back through and unpick all the window fill-in. But now that I have it up in the light, I'm like, oh, I can see there's a very, very subtle difference. There are supposed to be two valances over in the roof here, and I accidentally forgot this one, and I wasn't picking out the roof, so I just omitted it on the other side as well. and I think it's still fine. I loved stitching Martha, her dress. I loved stitching her. She was so fun. I'm trying to think what else I was going to say. The leaves were fun to stitch. The acorns are super cute. It's just a lot of color changes, so beware that there are, but the effect is so good at the end. I love it. I can't wait to display it later this year. So that was fun. Okay. So now I'll go into what other whips I worked on. Okay, first whip I worked on was Maria Ewan. I wanted to get all the way across the bottom here. That was my goal. I am stitching her with the called for Avera Soie 103s on 46 count buttermilk from Color and Cotton. I want to put this on the board too because she's big. So this is my progress on Maria. I did make it all the way to the other side and I have plenty of margin. I was a little worried. Turns out I measured perfectly. So that was a relief. I finished this flower and then I added 3 more flowers. They're so pretty. And then I started moving up and I started filling in this tree here, or I did this tree that still needs to be filled in. And then I started on her words across the bottom. It's so different when you're working on 46 count. It's like, I feel like I'm stitching and stitching and stitching and getting nowhere because the stitches are so tiny. It's not as big of an immediate impact while you're stitching it. It feels like you're just like, I'm stitching in the same holes over and over and over. But then you hold it up and you're like, oh, I guess I did something. But there is something about stitching on these higher counts. It's like you have to mentally prepare yourself for it to not look like you did very much versus stitching on a 36. But she's beautiful. I'm loving everything about this chart. I'm really excited to get into the grass here with all the strawberries. That was what drew me to this project, was the grass with the strawberries. I love it. So that is my progress on Maria. And the other ones are on hoops. Okay. And then another whip that I worked on was Jessie Challenor, 1904. I am stitching the muted colorway. I'm stitching her on 40 count Dust Bunny from Fox and Rabbit. And this is where I have gotten to on Jessie. So I haven't done any more in the borders. I did add this little E. I mostly focused in this area. Oh boy, guys, it is confetti central. There is a lot of stitches here, but it's like just confetti. You'll do like 5 stitches of this color over here, and then 5 stitches over here, and then 5 stitches over here, and then 5 stitches over here. And it's just like that constantly. The biggest chunks were these yellow and pink. And it was almost like a relief to get to these big chunks of color. The effect is stunning. It looks like it's painted on the fabric. The colors are so close to each other, like shade wise, that sometimes you're stitching it and you're like, this doesn't even look different. But then like you step back and it's like, it gives the effect of painting and it's so beautiful. but you have to work for it. You have to work for this one. She's a beauty, and I'm loving stitching on this fabric, and I love the effect that it's giving, these very muted colors on the muted fabric. It's just singing for me, so I'm very, very happy. I don't have a ton more. I would love to finish this full clump of, it's like these two flowers and then foliage. I would love to get that fully finished before setting her down, because I just worry that setting her down, it'll be a while till I touch her again. So if I can set her down with a fully completed large motif, I would be very happy about that. But she's beautiful. And then another project I worked on oh geez, get off. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry, everybody. I always forget to get this ready. Okay, another project I worked on was Anne Morrison, 1830, from Hands Across the Sea. I'm stitching her on 46 count porcelain from Lakeside Linens with the called for Avera Swat 103s. And I don't have a ton more progress since the last time you saw her. What have I done? So I finished this tree and I added this tree, started on this tree. I'm trying to think. I've started on this third flower over here, and I added some more vines in this flower, and then I added this vine and this flower. And I think, honestly, I can't remember. I think I mainly just worked here in this area, but the colors are so gorgeous. I stitched on this while watching the, I wanted to say Marilyn Manson, the Charles Manson documentary on Netflix that's new. I can't remember what it's called though. So sorry, Anne, you're now associated with the Manson family. But it's so pretty. I don't want to take her off the hoop because, again, afraid that I won't pick her back up. But Audrey did a really great Instagram stories, so they're probably disappeared by now, Instagram stories tip on how to do all these eyelets, like how do you anchor the thread. Basically she should do a little video for her YouTube, but she just like starts the thread, goes in further away, like where you're going to end, and then starts on the eyelets, and then as you go down on the eyelets, you're covering over the tail, and then you can just cut it off, and it's genius. So I want to get up here to this eyelet heart to try that tip out. Thank you so much for showing me that, Audrey. Very, very helpful. So there is Anne. And the last whip that I worked on was a stitch along I'm doing with Vanessa Flame Fingers on Instagram and Christy Crosshatch Quilts. And that is Quaker Dwelling from Kathy Barrick. I am stitching this with all of the delicious NPIs. And I'm stitching it on 40 count Saltbush from Fox and Rabbit. And I didn't get a ton done on this. Well, it looks like I didn't get a ton done on this, but this was almost 2 times of stitching on it. This motif is huge and so much stitching, unbelievable amount of stitching in this motif. Just sheer because of the counting. The counting takes a while, but I made it to the other side of the house. My goal was to get this motif either finished or started so that I could measure out how much margin I wanted and cut this fabric down because it's too big. I hate working on a half yard of fabric. So I did that. Ooh, my nail matched the thread color. That's kind of fun. So I did that, and I'm going to cut this down because I don't know if I want to continue on it right now. We'll see. I don't know. It's been on the hoop for I've only stitched on it once in the last week. It's been on the hoop that whole time and I haven't touched it. So maybe I'll put it away for a little bit. I just love this dark green color. It's so pretty. So not a ton of progress on Quaker Dwelling, but I will be able to cut the fabric down. That makes me happy. So that is all of my whips and finishes. When I only ever have 3 whips to show, it feels like I didn't stitch anything, but I've got 3 finishes, so I did pretty good. So I will go into a little bit of haul. Okay. So I did get my new Lori Holt Rick Rack trims in the mail, and I finished my Easter pillows with them. This color is, oh, and someone asked what size of the Lori Holt trims I get. I've always gotten large. I haven't gotten the small yet, so they're always the large size. This color is Frosting. I really loved the peony color too, but they were all out of stock. And this color is Songbird. I love that. So 2 more to add to my collection. And then I got some really amazing happy mail from my sweet friend Jessica, the Sweetwater Stitcher. She was clearing out some charts she had finished. And also we were talking about our market purchases, and one of my market purchases was Rose Hill Sampler from Stacy Nash. I'm still waiting on it in the mail. It's taking a tour of Idaho. It came to my town, and instead of coming to be delivered to me, it went back up 5 hours away to Boise. So it's just taking a grand tour before it comes to me. And we were talking about the called for fabric. She had a piece and I was a bit concerned that it might be too dark. And she said she wasn't going to use the called for fabric. So she was so generous and sent it to me. And it is 36 count broom grass from Needle Bling Designs. And this is what it looks like. And I love it so much. I cannot wait to start that chart on this. The colors are going to look so great. And it's not, I'm a baby when it comes to stitching on fabric that's too dark. I struggle. And this is not going to be difficult at all. So if that's something you're worried about with the called for, don't be, because this is perfect. It won't be a struggle at all. I'm so excited to be able to use this and get started on that chart though. I love it. And then she sent me all these wonderful charts. She actually sent me this Shepherd's Bush kit, To All a Good Night. Look how freaking cute that is. Raquel, her Instagram is Raquel Creates. She finished this just this past winter, and that's when I was like, oh, I want that. And it's all kitted and everything. So I will definitely be stitching that this year, maybe in July, Christmas in July. And then she sent me Needleworkers Sampler. This was her Blessing Sampler last year, and it's always behind her in her videos, Jessica's videos, and it's just gorgeous. And then she sent me Dear Friends. So cute. And there's a little needle minder in here too. Simply Stitching Ocala. Oh, she's mentioned her a bunch of times in her videos. Look how cute. I love it. Little pumpkin, so cute. And then the Milk and Cream Company. I stitched Bovinia, who this chart reminds me of. I stitched Bovinia for my mother-in-law one year for Mother's Day, and she still has it displayed in her house. It makes me so happy every time I see it. But I just love these cows, these quilted cows. Oh, so cute. Queen of the Needle. Be so cute to have in my sewing room. this is the day. It's kind of glaring, sorry. I love that pink brick house. So pretty. Witch's Night Out. I have October 31st, which is very similar to this, but much bigger. I like this small one. Winter Quaker from Primrose Cottage, and it's all kitted. I just think that's so pretty. The Big Hearted Tiny Town from Heart and Hand. The Maker and Mender. I love this sampler. I love it. I don't know about doing this part. I think it's so pretty, but like, do you frame? Do you still frame after you do that? I don't know. I don't even know what that is called. That little detail. But I don't know. Are you supposed to frame something after you do that? Or you did just leave it like a soft finish? I'm not sure. Love that chart. And then hats off to Uncle Sam from Blackbird Design. I love this. Such a sweet, quick, patriotic finish. So thank you so much, Jessica. Really appreciate having such great friends in this community. This community is just the best. So that's it. I don't have any purchase haul because it's all market stuff I'm still waiting on. And that is all of the stitching I have to show. I did film a craft room tour. I'm gonna post it tomorrow. I hope that I'm not too Blair Witch Project camera, shaky cam, and huffing and puffing. There's something about like wandering around and trying to not sound like you're breathing really hard into the camera because you're holding the camera really close to your face and talking all at the same time. I felt like I was like dying for breath. So I hope it's not too bad for everybody. But I will be posting that tomorrow. I've had a lot of requests for it and I thought I have the time, so I'm just going to do it. My craft room is not as beautiful as so many craft rooms that I've seen on Flosstube, but it is functional and it is a special place for me to have all my things, where I used to just be a kitchen table crafter. So I am grateful to have my own room. I know that's not the case for a lot of people. So, shows. Well, I guess I'll talk just a little bit of life. So we did have my dancer daughter Parker's, I don't know if I've ever actually said her name on here. Her name is Parker. And we did have her last competition over the weekend. They did really, really well. They did not get first. And the way this competition scored was a bit differently than the last one. I didn't really understand their scoring. It was like diamond and rose diamond and ruby. And I'm like, I don't know what these mean. The other team in their studio, that's their age, won first overall. Over all the teams that competed, they won first overall. So that was really great. I think they won that last year too, or we'll get them one year. But they did really, really good. They got diamond high point. So it sounds like they did good. I don't know. But she had a lot of fun, and now they are prepping for recital in May. They got to know the theme for the recital. Every year there's a theme. This year the theme is Descendants, which I think is a Disney series of, it's like kids who are the children of the Disney villains. All I know is that when they said it's the Descendants, every little girl in that room shrieked their head off. So it's got to be good. Her class is Evie, the blue one. I think she said she's the daughter of the evil queen from Snow White. So she's very excited. They started learning their routine for recital yesterday. And yeah, and we got to give them their competition gift. We got all of them these pink, super fuzzy and soft blankets and had their names embroidered on them. They're really, really cute and they loved them. But competition is over. Competition season is over. It really wasn't bad at all this year. It felt like, and I think confidence was another thing. Last year was our first year on team, and so I felt like kind of like, what the heck are we doing? This year I was more confident in that, and it just went a lot smoother English. And so that was what we did all on Saturday, and my husband brought the other two kids, and my mom came and my sister came and my husband's mom came, and we all were there to support her, and she loved that. So that's done. My 3-year-old we have like a life change happening over here. My 3-year-old has been taking herself to the bathroom by herself for the last few days. And I'm like, is this what life is like when you're not taking someone to the bathroom every 10 minutes? Like, a whole world has opened up for me. It's bittersweet, obviously, as all these things with your last child are. They're bittersweet. But mostly this one's sweet. I will say the bathroom stuff is not my favorite part of having 3-year-olds. So it's mostly pretty sweet. And every time she does it, me and my husband were looking at each other like, yes. So that's pretty great over here. That's been the highlight of my whole week. And then on Sunday, we went over to my mom's house. They got a new dog, and it had been since before Christmas that we were at their house. So we went over to their house for dinner, and the kids got to swim in the hot tub. And it was the 3-year-old's first time in the hot tub, and she did not want to get out. As we were getting ready for bed that night, she said, when can we go back to Grandma's tiny pool? So they had a great time doing that. And yeah, really, that's all for life. So I will go into shows now. We've still been watching Severance. We did finish the first season. It was so good. It was so good. I told my brothers that I'd already finished the first season, and I had told them when I'd started it, and they were like, what? Like, you're already finished? Like, and I'm like, that should tell you how good it is, because that's how fast we watched it, because we sometimes are really slow at watching shows. So we're in season 2. I think we're on the 3rd episode of season 2. And on Friday is when the final episode airs. So then all of season 2 will be out. And it's been good. I feel like the first season was better, but this season has been good. We watched Dances with Wolves on, I can't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday. It's been a long time since I watched that show. It's just so good. Again, they just don't make movies like that anymore. I finished Anne of Green Gables, the 80s version I've been watching with Megan Fellows. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I literally cried when it was over, because I was like just sad that I'd already watched all of them and it was over. And they were leaving Green Gables. I want to live at Green Gables. It was so good. There's not even anything to say, because it was just perfection. And I can't wait to watch it again next year, because it will be a yearly watch for me. I loved it. Okay, a show I really, really, really want you guys to check out if you like detective kind of thriller shows. This show's on Peacock. It's called Long Bright River. The lead is Amanda Seyfried. It is one of the best shows I've watched in a really long time. It's about, she's a cop in, I want to say it's Philadelphia. She's a cop, working on a she works the main street that has all the, like, the prostitution ring, like the ladies that are, you know, prostituting. And she's like friendly with all of them. She grew up in this area with all these girls, and suddenly the girls start dying, and nobody wants to look into it any further because they're unimportant people. But but she knows them, so she starts diving into it, and it's just like, it's muddy, and there's lots of corruption. And I mean, every single episode, I was like, watch the next one right now. Like, it was just so, so good. We were late going to my parents for dinner because I had 15 minutes left of the last episode, and I was like, I'm not turning this off now. It was so, so, so good. I loved it. Highly recommend. And that is all the shows I watched. Well, I've been watching like random things. Like, I haven't watched Grey's for a few weeks because it's reaching that point where I always quit in Grey's Anatomy because it's getting really obnoxious and kind of like boring. After Meredith and Derek get their kids, I'm like bored. And that's so bad to say. So I haven't watched Grey's for a while, but I have been watching Sanditon. I started a rewatch of Sanditon. That is a PBS show with Theo James and the gal, I can't remember her name, but she was in the TV show Rain on CW. It is so good. I love Sanditon, and I hadn't watched it since, it'd been about a year since I watched it the first time. And it's just a great, one of those like kind of period romance type TV shows. Oh, I love it. So I've been watching that kind of off and on. But I have been told that there is a new docu-series on HBO about, is her name Karen? The Boston cop who was killed. And his wife is on trial for his death with her car or something. But it's like such a murky case. It's still in trial. Like, her second part of her trial hasn't even started, and there's already a docu-series out on HBO. It seems like should be a conflict of interest or something affecting the jury or something, like putting how can they put out documentaries and docuseries about trials and things that aren't even concluded or aren't even started? Like, there's already one about the Luigi Mangione. His trial hasn't even begun. It's like barely in the starts of it, and there's already a documentary about it. I feel like it's going to sway any person that's going to be on the jury, like, and create grounds for mistrial in the defense's case. Seems strange times we're living in. So that is all the shows that I wanted to talk about. At the end of this video, I've had a few requests for a little tour of my dining room that I have recently finished putting together. So at the end of this video, I will put a little, it's not very long, maybe a minute long, little video of my dining room. And then tomorrow I will post my craft room video for anybody who would like to watch it. And plans, I don't make them. I go where my heart tells me. I'm a free bird. And I know for sure I'm waiting on some market ones. I'm going to start Lily the Frog, the animal cracker, and I'm going to start the Spring Trio pillows from Brenda Gervais. And as soon as I get the Rose Hill sampler, I'm going to start that as well. So I know I will be starting those in the next video. Otherwise, none of my whips are like, I must work on you right now. I'm kind of in a weird, I don't know what to work on slump. So I just pull out whatever's nearest to me. But yeah, I'm kind of like in a weird, I don't know what to stitch on moment. So you will be surprised along with myself in my next video what I end up working on. Anyways, I hope you liked my video, and I hope you check out my craft room tour in the next day, and I will see you in my next video. Happy stitching!